Freilichem Chanuka to my family and friends. I would just like to take this opportunity to share with you a brief Dvar Torah about Chanuka. The question I'd like to address is a very basic question about Chanuka. The question is, what does the Menorah represent, and what does that have to do with Chanuka? Of course, we know that the Menorah was lit in the Beis HaMikdash, and during the time of the Yevanim, they tried to attack us. There was only a little bit of oil left, and it lasted 8 days. So we have Hanukkah nowadays that we remember that miracle that happened with the oil of the Menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. But again, the question is, what does the Menorah itself represent? Besides the fact that a nace happened with it in the Beis HaMikdash, and we are remembering that with Hanukkah, what does the Menorah itself represent, and what does that have to do with this holiday of Hanukkah? I'd like to share with you an idea that my uncle, Rabbi Menachem Kazin of Bayit Vigan, shared with me this week to answer that question. He said, take a step back and think about what the Menorah was on a very basic physical level. We see the psukim in Parshas Truma that describe the Menorah when Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to create it for the Beis HaMikdash, for the Mishkan at the time. And it's described in very interesting terms. There's a center trunk, let's call it. There are branches that go to the side. There's kafter v'ferach, knobs and flowers. There are gevim, v'shukadim, cups that were engraved with almonds. What does this sound like to you? A trunk, branches, flowers, almonds. It sounds like a tree. The menorah sounds like a tree. It has basically the elements of a tree. A center part, branches, flowers, and almonds, fruit. But what do we do with the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash? It was lit on fire. A tree on fire. An interesting concept, but one that we find somewhere else in a parsha not too far away from Parshas Truma. Where do we find that concept of a tree on fire? We find it by Moshe Rabbeinu, of course. When Moshe Rabbeinu first encountered Hashem, so to speak, what did he find? He found a sneh, a bush, that was bar ba'esh, that was burning on fire. A bush on fire, a tree on fire. Definitely a correlation on a very basic physical level. But again, what does that have to do with Hanukkah? We light this menorah on Hanukkah, and what does this all mean? How does this burning bush and the burning tree of the menorah come together? How are these related, and what does it have to do with this holiday of Hanukkah? So, my uncle explained as follows. We see, of course, we know that the burning bush was representative of Klal Yisrael. As the pasuk says over there in Parshas Shmos, it was on fire, but it did not get consumed. That is like Klal Yisrael, the Medrash says. We get persecuted, we get burned, they try to destroy us, but we're not consumed. We do not get destroyed at the end of the day. That is Klal Yisrael in a nutshell. And we do find a very strong correlation of this bush to the Beis HaMikdash, where the menorah was housed as well. The Ramban says that we know Har Sinai had a kedusha to it. I bring up Har Sinai because that is where the Maisa of the Sneh happened. It happened, as the pasuk says, on Har HaElokim, which Rashi explains was Har Sinai. Har Sinai had a kedusha to it when the Torah was given to us by Matan Torah. That kedusha, the Ramban says, went away after Matan Torah, but it was transferred to the Beis HaMikdash. So we see a direct connection between not just the physical aspects of the bush burning and this menorah, which is in the shape of a tree that gets lit on fire, but we see a direct connection that the Kedusha transferred from Har Sinai, where that bush was, to the Beis HaMikdash. But again, what does this all mean? And how does that come together in the story of Hanukkah? Well, that is the story of Hanukkah in a nutshell as well. The Yevanim came, they were trying to destroy us. They tried to destroy our neshamas. They tried to attack our Beis HaMikdash and take away our Kedusha and be metaminated the Beis HaMikdash. But of course they were not successful. Hashem did not let them be successful. That is the message of the menorah. There was oil left over, and that oil, not only was it left over, Hashem made a miracle to show us Hashem is coming through for us. He's not going to let us get destroyed. There's enough oil that really should last one day. It's going to last 8 days now. That Kedusha that they tried to destroy, it's going to blossom like a tree. And it's going to continue to exist. And we will not get consumed. That was the message of the sneh burning. And that is the message of Chanuka by the menorah, which is like a tree as well, like the sneh. A very interesting relationship between the sneh and the menorah, and the interesting concept of the menorah itself. Interestingly, I was thinking, it seems that another specific religion that has a tree that is lit up for a specific holiday this time of the year would not surprise me if it has its basis in Lahavdil, our original tree, the menorah, which we light on fire. Be that as it may, we find this persecution nowadays. I just saw a story in the news this week in Long Island. There were some vandals that were caught on tape destroying and trying to vandalize a menorah that was put on public display, twisting the aluminum, knocking it down. They tried to attack us, they tried to destroy us, but we're like the sneh, the original bush that was burning. That was enenu ukol. We do not get consumed. This is the message of Chanuka, the message of the menorah, and we take this as a lesson to be mischazik, to strengthen ourselves in our mitzvahs and in our emunah and Hashem. May we all enjoy this Chanuka and have a freilichen Chanuka. Thank you for listening.
Okay.